Imagine standing at the foot of a mountain. The peak seems impossibly high, shrouded in mist. But here's the twist. That mountain isn't some far-off challenge. It's you. The actual summit you need to conquer. It's right here in your mind. Welcome to the real battle. You versus you, overcoming your big jest obstacles. I'm your host, and today we're embarking on a journey of self-discovery and growth, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Every day we face battles, but the toughest opponent you'll ever encounter isn't out there. It's the person staring back at you in the mirror. As the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, the chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. But why listen to some ancient Greeks and Romans? Well, their wisdom has stood the test of time, guiding emperors and enslaved people alike. And today it's more relevant than ever. The Stoics offer a roadmap to inner peace and true success in a world of constant distractions and instant gratification. Let's start with a modern example. Think about the last time you scrolled through social media, feeling envy at someone else's achievements. That's not your real battle. Your real battle is with the voice that says you're not good enough. As Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, wrote in his journal, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Over the next hour, we will tackle the most significant obstacles between you and your best self. We'll dive deep into 1. Taming your ego. 2. Conquering procrastination. 3. Building unshakable discipline. 4. Overcoming distractions. 5. Breaking bad habits. 6. Silencing self-doubt. 7. Facing your fears. 8. Fueling your body and mind. 9. Letting go of toxic influences. 10. Pushing beyond your comfort zone. But here's the kicker. This isn't just another self-help video. We're not here to offer quick fixes or empty promises. This is about real, lasting change. As Musonius Rufus, the Roman Socrates, said, we should not be learning in order to make speeches, but in order to conduct ourselves properly. Now you might be thinking, great, another video telling me just to try harder, but that's not what this is about. The Stoics weren't about gritting your teeth and powering through. They were about understanding yourself, aligning your actions with your values, and finding true fulfillment. Take Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism. After losing everything in a shipwreck, he didn't just give up. He saw it as an opportunity to start fresh and pursue wisdom. That's the kind of resilience and perspective we're aiming for. By the end of this video, you'll have practical tools to overcome your internal obstacles. You'll understand how to harness the power of your mind. Just as Cleans, who worked as a water carrier by night to study philosophy by day, harnessed his determination to become one of the great Stoic teachers. But remember, knowledge without action is just philosophy. Real change comes from applying these principles in your daily life. Seneca wisely said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So, are you ready to prepare? Are you ready to take on your most formidable opponent yourself? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Your journey to becoming the best version of yourself starts right now. Let's begin. Welcome to our first internal battle, taming the ego. The ego, that voice inside telling you you're the best or perhaps the worst. It's a powerful force, but often a misleading one. Let's start with a Stoic quote. You're not your reputation. You're not what other people think of you. You're not even what you think of yourself. Powerful words, but what do they mean in practice? Imagine you've just received praise for a job well done. Your ego swells, telling you you're invincible. Or picture a moment of failure, your ego crumbling, convinced you're worthless. Both extremes are illusions. The Stoics understood that our egos often lead us astray. Epictetus wisely said, it's impossible to learn that which one thinks one already knows. An inflated ego closes our eyes to our flaws and stunts our growth. On the flip side, a bruised ego can paralyze us with self-doubt. So how do we tame this beast? Let's break it down. 1. Practice humility. Zeno of Citium taught, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen more than we say. Try listening instead next time you're tempted to boast or defend your ego. You might be surprised by what you learn. 2. Embrace criticism. Instead of seeing criticism as an attack, view it as free advice. Cleanthes, who was often ridiculed for his humble background, used this derision as fuel for self-improvement. 3. Separate your actions from your worth. You are not your successes or failures. As Seneca put it, he who boasts of his descent praises the deeds of another. Your actions don't define you, they're growth opportunities. 4. Practice self-deprecating humor. Laugh at yourself occasionally. It keeps you humble and approachable. Even Emperor Marcus Aurelius wasn't above poking fun at himself in his journals. 5. Focus on progress, not perfection. Rusonius Rufus taught if you accomplish something good with hard work, the labor passes quickly, but the good endures. If you do something shameful in pursuit of pleasure, the pleasure passes quickly, but the shame endures. Remember, taming your ego isn't about destroying your self-esteem. It's about finding a balance, confident enough to pursue your goals, humble enough to acknowledge your flaws and keep learning. Social media often feeds our egos with likes and follows in our modern world. Try this exercise. Next time you're about to post something, ask yourself, am I doing this to share genuinely or to feed my ego? This simple pause can be eye-opening. Heracles, a lesser-known Stoic, proposed an exercise of expanding circles of concern. Start with yourself, then your family, friends, community, and eventually all humanity. This perspective shift can help shrink an overinflated ego. As we wrap up this chapter, remember, your ego is a tool, not your master. Heracles suggested visualizing concentric circles of concern with ourselves at the center. Apply this to your attention. What deserves to be in your inner circle of focus? What can be relegated to the outer circles? Remember, overcoming distractions isn't about achieving perfect focus all the time. It's about becoming more intentional with your attention. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Here's a challenge for the week ahead. 1. Choose 1 hour each day to be completely distraction-free. 2. Use this time for deep work, reflection, or connecting with loved ones. 3. Share your experiences in the comments below. In our next chapter, we'll explore how to break bad habits. But for now, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: you always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. These things are not asking to be judged by you. Leave them alone. As we close this chapter, reflect on this. Your attention is your most valuable resource. Where you place determines the shape of your life. By mastering your focus, you're not just becoming more productive, you're reclaiming your life. Stay focused, stay present, and remember, every moment of intentional focus is a step towards mastery of your mind and life. We've navigated the landscapes of self-awareness, procrastination, discipline, and focus. Now we face a challenge that touches every aspect of our lives: breaking bad habits. Let's begin with powerful proverbs. Habits are first cobwebs, then cables. This vivid imagery reminds us that good or bad habits strengthen over time. The key is to recognize and address them early. The Stoics understood that our habitual actions shape our character. As Will Durant, though he is not a Stoic, his influence on Stoicism is undeniable, famously said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. So how do we break the chains of bad habits and forge new, positive ones? Let's break it down. 1. Identify the trigger. Marcus Aurelius advised, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Recognize what triggers your bad habits. 2. Replace. Don't just remove, remove. Aristotle wisely noted, nature abhors a vacuum. Don't just try to stop a bad habit, replace it with a positive one. 3. Practice self-compassion. Epictetus taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Be patient with yourself. Changing habits takes time. 4. Visualize success. Regularly visualize yourself successfully overcoming your bad habit. 5. Create accountability. 5. Create accountability. 5. Create accountability. Seneca wrote extensively to his friend Aurelius about self-improvement. Find an accountability partner or share your goals with someone you trust. Now let's address a modern challenge. Digital habits. Many of us need help with excessive screen time or social media use. Try this Stoic-inspired technique for 1 week before engaging in any digital activity. Pause and ask, is this aligning with my values and goals? This moment of reflection can help break automatic digital habits. Aurelius suggested an exercise of examining our roles and responsibilities. Apply this to your habits. How do your current habits align with your roles as a friend, family member, professional, and citizen? This perspective can motivate change. Remember, breaking bad habits isn't about achieving perfection. It's about progress and continuous improvement. As Epictetus said, he is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Here's a challenge for the week ahead. Choose one bad habit you want to break. Identify its trigger, decide on a positive replacement, and commit to this change for 7 days. Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. In our next chapter, we'll explore how to silence self-doubt. But for now, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius, do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. As we close this chapter, reflect on this. Every time you choose a new, positive action over a bad habit, you vote for the person you want to become. You're sculpting your character, one choice at a time. Remember, the power to change your habits lies within you. Previously, we've conquered bad habits, and now we face perhaps our most insidious enemy, self-doubt. That nagging voice that whispers, you're not good enough, you can't do it, or who do you think you are? Let's begin with a powerful quote from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This reminds us that self-doubt is not an external force, but an internal one that we have the power to control. The Stoics understood that our judgments about ourselves often cause more suffering than external events. As Epictetus said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. So how do we silence these disturbing views of self-doubt? Let's break it down. Recognize self-doubt for what it is. Seneca advised we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. When self-doubt arises, pause and ask, is this doubt based on fact or fear? Practice self-compassion. Aurelius taught about expanding circles of concern with ourselves at the center. Treat yourself with the kindness you'd offer a good friend facing doubt. 3. Focus on what you can control. Epictetus emphasized there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. Focus on your efforts, not outcomes. 4. Use negative visualization. Paradoxically, imagining the worst can help silence doubt. As Seneca suggested, he who fears death will never do anything worthy of a living man. 5. Take action despite doubt. Plato said, for a man to conquer himself is the first and noblest of all victories. Small actions in the face of doubt build confidence over time. Let's address a modern challenge: social media comparison. Try this Stoic-inspired technique. For 1 week before checking social media, remind yourself, I'm seeing others' highlight reels, not their behind the scenes. This perspective can help reduce doubt-inducing comparisons. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, taught about living in agreement with nature. Apply this to self-doubt. Is your doubt in alignment with your true nature and potential, or is it a learned response based on fear? Remember, silencing self-doubt isn't about never feeling uncertain. It's about not letting that uncertainty paralyze you. As Marcus Aurelius said, our life is what our thoughts make it. Here's a challenge for the week ahead. 1. Please write it down each time you feel self-doubt. 2. Write a compassionate, rational response to that doubt. 3. Share your insights and experiences in the comments below. In our next chapter, we'll explore how to face our fears. But for now, remember the words of Epictetus: he who is not happy with little will never be happy with much. As we close this chapter, reflect on this. Every time you push through self-doubt, you build a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. You're proving that you are indeed capable, worthy, and strong. Remember, the voice of self-doubt may be loud, but your inner strength is louder. Now we will discuss one of life's most significant challenges, our fears. Fear can paralyze us from living fully and pursuing our dreams. Let's start with a powerful quote from Seneca. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This reminds us that our fears are often more daunting in our minds than in actual experience. The Stoics understood that fear is a natural human emotion, but also knew it shouldn't control our actions. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So how do we face our fears and move forward? Let's break it down. Identify your fears. Marcus Aurelius advised, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Name your fears to reduce their power. 2. Use negative visualization. Paradoxically, imagining the worst can help alleviate fear. As Seneca suggested, he who fears death will never do anything worthy of a living man. 3. Focus on what you can control. Epictetus emphasized there is only one way to happiness, that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. Focus on your actions, not outcomes. 4. Practice gradual exposure. Musonius Rufus taught we should discipline ourselves in small things and from their progress to things of greater value. Start with small steps to face your fears. 5. Reframe fear as excitement. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, believed in living in harmony with nature. Recognize fear as a natural response and channel it into positive energy. Now let's address a modern challenge: fear of failure in a social media age. Try this Stoic-inspired technique. For 1 week, whenever you're about to avoid something due to fear of failure, pause and ask, what's the worst that could happen, and could I handle it? This realistic assessment often reveals our fears as manageable. Hierocles suggested expanding circles of concern. Apply this to your fears. How do your fears impact not just you, but your family, community, and humanity? This broader perspective can motivate action despite fear. Remember, facing your fears isn't about becoming fearless, it's about acting with courage despite fear. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Here's a challenge for the week ahead. 1. Choose one fear you want to face. Break it down into small, manageable steps and commit to taking one step each day. 3. Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. Our next chapter will explore how our food impacts our mental state. But for now, remember the words of Seneca: it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult. From now on, every time you face a fear, you're expanding your comfort zone and proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you imagined. You're not just overcoming fear, you're building courage. Remember, on the other side of fear lies growth and opportunity. We've faced our fears, and now we focus on an often overlooked aspect of our mental and physical well-being: the food we consume. Let's begin with an old saying. The human being is nourished by food in 2 ways. One is physical, the other is spiritual. This reminds us that what we eat affects our bodies, minds, and spirits. While the ancient Stoics couldn't access modern nutritional science, they understood the importance of moderation and mindful eating. Epictetus advised, no man is free who is not master of himself. This applies not just to our thoughts and actions, but also to our eating habits. How do we approach our diet with Stoic wisdom? Let's break it down. 1. Practice mindful eating. Remember, when you eat, eat slowly. Pay attention to your food, its taste, texture, and how it makes you feel. 2. Choose quality over quantity. Seneca said, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Apply this to your food choices. 3. Understand food's purpose. Remember, food should be used for nourishment, not pleasure. While enjoyment is fine, remember food's primary objective is to fuel your body. 4. Practice occasional abstinence. The Stoics often practiced voluntary discomfort, including fasting. This can help you appreciate food more and strengthen your self-control. 5. Be grateful for your food. Epictetus advised. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Express gratitude for your meals. Now let's address a modern challenge: the abundance of processed and junk food. Try this Stoic-inspired technique. For 1 week before eating anything, ask yourself, is this nourishing my body or just satisfying a craving? This pause can help you make more mindful food choices. Hieroglyphs suggested expanding circles of concern. Apply this to your diet. How do your food choices impact not just you, but your family, your community, and the environment? Remember, improving your diet isn't about achieving perfection. It's about making consistent, mindful choices. Here's a challenge for the week ahead. Choose one unhealthy eating habit you want to change. It could be snacking late at night, drinking too much soda, or eating too fast. Commit to changing this habit for 7 days. Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. In the next part, we will explore letting go of toxic relationships and memories. But for now, remember the words of Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. From now on, every time you choose a nourishing meal over an unhealthy option, you're not just feeding your body, you're nurturing your mind and spirit. You're practicing self-respect and self-care in a very tangible way. Stay mindful, stay nourished. Remember, you have the power to choose what you consume. Make choices that serve your highest good. We've already learned how to nourish our bodies with mindful eating. Now we turn to nourishing our souls by addressing toxic relationships and memories. Let's begin with a powerful quote from Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This reminds us that while we can't control others or change the past, we have power over our responses and the meaning we assign to our experiences. The Stoics understood that our social connections and memories significantly impact our well-being. As Marcus Aurelius advised, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. So how do we navigate toxic relationships and let go of painful memories? Let's break it down. 1. Recognize toxic patterns. Seneca said, associate with people who are likely to improve you. Be honest about which relationships drain you and which uplift you. 2. Set healthy boundaries. Epictetus taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Setting boundaries may upset others, but it's crucial for your well-being. 3. Practice forgiveness. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Forgiveness is more about freeing yourself than pardoning others. 4. Reframe painful memories. Epictetus advised, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. Try to find lessons or growth in difficult experiences. Now let's address a modern challenge: digital connections and social media. Try this Stoic-inspired technique. For 1 week before engaging with any digital connection, ask yourself, does this relationship or interaction add value to my life? This reflection can help you curate more positive digital experiences. Hieroglyphs suggested visualizing expanding circles of concern. Apply this to your relationships. How do your closest connections impact your wider social circles and community? This perspective can motivate you to cultivate healthier relationships. Remember, addressing toxic relationships and memories isn't about never experiencing conflict or pain. It's about responding to these challenges in a way that aligns with your values and promotes growth. Here's a challenge for the week ahead. 1. Choose one toxic relationship or painful memory you want to address. Write down 3 specific actions to set boundaries, practice forgiveness, or reframe the situation. 3. Share your insights and experiences in the comments below. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. From now on, I hope you're reclaiming your power whenever you set a healthy boundary or reframe a painful memory. You're choosing growth over comfort, wisdom over familiarity. Stay strong. Stay true to yourself. Remember, you can choose the energy you allow in your life. Choose wisely. We've journeyed through many challenges and now face the most transformative, pushing beyond our comfort zone. Let's begin with a powerful quote from Seneca. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult. This encapsulates the essence of stepping out of our comfort zone. It's about daring to grow. The Stoics understood that actual growth and virtue come from facing challenges. There is a famous saying, move out of your comfort zone. You can only grow if you are willing to feel awkward and uncomfortable when you try something new. So how do we push beyond our comfort zones and embrace growth? Let's break it down. Embrace discomfort. Epictetus taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Growth often means doing things that feel uncomfortable or unfamiliar. 2. Start small. Musonius Rufus advised, we should discipline ourselves in small things, and from their progress to things of greater value. Begin with small steps outside your comfort zone. 3. Reframe challenges as opportunities. Marcus Aurelius suggested the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. See obstacles as chances for growth. 4. Practice voluntary discomfort. The Stoics often deliberately place themselves in challenging situations. Try small acts of voluntary discomfort to build resilience. 5. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Concentrate on the growth that comes from pushing your boundaries regardless of the result. Now let's do it. Let's address a modern challenge, the comfort of routine in our digital age. Try this Stoic-inspired technique. For 1 week, commit to doing one new thing each day, no matter how small. It could be trying a new food, taking a different route to work, or learning a new skill online. Heracles suggested expanding circles of concern. Apply this to pushing your boundaries. How might stepping out of your comfort zone not only benefit you, but also your family, community, and even humanity? Remember, pushing beyond your comfort zone isn't about constant stress or recklessness. It's about gradual, intentional growth. As Seneca said, if one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable. Here's a final challenge. Choose one significant way you want to step out of your comfort zone in the coming month. Break it down into weekly goals and commit to taking action. 3. Share your plans and progress in the comments below. As we conclude our journey, remember, the one thing you learn is when you can step out of your comfort zone and be uncomfortable. You see what you're made of and who you are. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you expand your capabilities and understanding of yourself. Reflect on this. The greatest growth often lies just beyond the boundaries of your comfort. By daring to push these boundaries, you're not just changing yourself, but your world. For joining me on this Stoic journey of self-improvement. Remember, the real battle, you versus you, is ongoing, but with the wisdom of the Stoics and the strength you've cultivated, you're well equipped to face any challenge. Stay curious, stay brave, and keep growing. The best version of yourself is always one step beyond your comfort zone. Embrace the journey. We've reached the end of our exploration, but remember, this is just the beginning of your Stoic journey. As Epictetus wisely said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Your task now is to apply these Stoic principles in your daily life. Remember, progress is often slow and steady. Be patient with yourself, but remain committed to growth. In every challenge, every setback, and every triumph, you have the opportunity to practice Stoicism. As we conclude, I challenge you to choose one principle from our journey and fully commit to embodying it this week. Please share your experiences and insights with our community. Remember, the real battle, you versus you, is lifelong. Welcome to an hour of timeless Stoic wisdom. In this video, we explore the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, who guide you towards resilience, peace, and inner strength. Let's dive into the profound insights that can transform your life. Facing life's challenges with dignity. Have you ever experienced a challenging situation or personal crisis that made you feel like your world had stopped while everyone around you carried on with their daily lives? The ancient philosopher Marcus Aurelius offered some wise advice for moments like these. He said, begin each day by telling yourself, today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, all due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil. This quote highlights an important truth. No matter our challenges or adversities, the world around us will continue to move forward, often indifferent to our struggles. But embracing this reality with a Stoic mindset can empower us to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and resilience. Marcus Aurelius suggests that we should start each day with realistic expectations. He anticipates that we may encounter negative behaviors from others, such as interference, ingratitude, or selfishness. He attributes these actions to ignorance rather than malice and encourages us to respond with patience and compassion. By embracing the inevitable difficulties, we can maintain composure and avoid being caught off guard or disheartened by them. This mindset allows us to approach challenges with resilience and wisdom, leading to a more peaceful and controlled approach to life's obstacles. When we're going through a tough time, expecting the world to stop and take care of us is easy. However, the reality is that people will continue their daily routines, often unaware of our struggles. This is not a cynical observation, but a pragmatic one, reminding us that we must prioritize our well-being and take proactive steps to heal and protect ourselves. No matter how intensely we experience loss, betrayal, or calamity, the tide of daily life for most people will continue unabated. This doesn't make them uncaring. It simply acknowledges that we are fundamentally alone in responding to and integrating significant events, especially interior ones. While support systems are crucial, they can never fully insulate us from or solve our most profound personal reckonings. We alone must be able to navigate through each storm by cultivating our philosophies, values, and coping capabilities. This self-reliance is the path toward becoming anti-fragile, more flexible yet unbreakable, buoyant yet unshakable. In the process of facing our challenges alone, we experience the most profound personal growth and can even surpass our previous limitations. This journey is unique to each of us and leads to spiritual self-reliance and resilience in the face of life's constant changes. Instead of holding on to bitterness towards the world's apparent indifference or trying to find an enemy in an impersonal universe, it's wiser to accept this timeless truth and focus on strengthening your ability to withstand challenges like a sturdy tree, enduring strong winds by bending low. Even though the world may not pause to mourn with you after a crisis, its indifference is a reminder to embrace the experience and learn from it entirely. Instead of waiting for the chaos to stop, focus on stabilizing yourself and use every challenge as an opportunity to become stronger and more resilient. The Stoic philosophy of Marcus Aurelius provides a timeless perspective on the importance of embracing self-reliance and developing inner resilience in the face of life's inevitable challenges. By cultivating realistic expectations, prioritizing self-care, and taking proactive Aurelius, that we can successfully navigate even the most trying circumstances with grace and emerge stronger on the other side. So the next time you confront a personal crisis, remember that the world will continue to turn, and that's okay. Direct your focus towards strengthening your philosophical outlook, reinforcing your core values, and refining your coping mechanisms. Trust in your ability to weather the storm and embrace the Stoic mindset, and you will discover the strength and resilience needed to overcome any obstacle that comes your way. Please reflect on these profound teachings and consider how to apply them to your own life. By embracing the challenge of self-reliance, you will uncover a newfound sense of empowerment and grace in navigating life's inevitable ups and downs. The Stoic philosophy of Marcus Aurelius provides a profound outlook on embracing self-reliance and nurturing inner strength in the face of life's inevitable trials. By maintaining realistic expectations, prioritizing self-care, and taking ownership of our healing and personal development, we can navigate even the most daunting challenges with composure and emerge more resilient. So the next time you encounter a personal crisis, remind yourself that life goes on, and that's perfectly all right. Concentrate on reinforcing your beliefs, values, and coping mechanisms, and have faith in your ability to endure adversity. Embrace the Stoic mindset, and you'll find the grit and resilience to conquer any obstacle that comes your way. Please take a moment to ponder these teachings and contemplate how to integrate them into your life. Embracing the challenge of self-reliance will lead you to discover a renewed sense of strength and poise in navigating life's ebbs and flows, conquering feelings to live the life of your dreams. Have you ever experienced that overwhelming feeling of being unmotivated or discouraged, making it difficult to take action even when you know you should? It's an everyday struggle we all encounter at various times. However, a powerful quote serves as a reminder. It doesn't matter whether you feel okay or not. Life isn't going to wait for you. So get up and push yourself through. While this statement may come across as blunt, it actually holds an empowering message deeply rooted in the ancient Stoic philosophy. The Stoics understood that although we can't control every situation or circumstance, we can control our responses. As Marcus Aurelius famously said, the universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it. Life doesn't stop for any of us, even when we're feeling low or lacking motivation. The world continues to move forward, and time waits for no one, regardless of our emotional state. This reality underscores a crucial insight. Our ability to shape our lives comes from within, not external factors beyond our control. When facing moments of feeling stuck or resistant, waiting for inspiration or better emotions before taking action is natural. However, the Stoic philosophy encourages us to tap into our inner drive regardless of our passing feelings. As Marcus Aurelius aptly said, if a thing is humanly possible, consider it to be within your reach. Consider the scenario of a marathon runner encountering the wall, that critical point where exhaustion and uncertainty threaten to hinder progress. A Stoic mindset would remind the runner that their feelings at that moment are fleeting, and perseverance is entirely achievable through sheer determination. By accessing their deep-seated discipline and mental strength, they can overcome emotional obstacles and keep moving forward step by step. In our lives, we all encounter metaphorical walls and instances of resistance. Stoic wisdom teaches us to acknowledge our feelings, recognize their validity, and understand that they need not dictate our actions. We can muster the resilience to take the next step by anchoring ourselves in our fundamental values and aspirations, even when our emotions may momentarily disagree. This approach isn't about disregarding or suppressing emotions, but about fostering the resilience to align with our loftiest goals, regardless of our current emotional state. Through consistent practice, we cultivate a robust self-reliance that allows us to approach each day with purpose and determination, rather than being immobilized by transient emotions. So the next time you feel unmotivated or discouraged, you must pause and reconnect with your deeper why, the core reasons and values driving you forward. Life's currents will continue to flow whether or not you participate, but by activating your inner drive, you reclaim the power to shape your journey intentionally. Taking that first challenging step and letting the momentum of your actions carry you through emotional resistance will lead you to the profound freedom of living as the author of your life story, rather than a mere bystander. The Stoics demonstrate that we all possess incredible resilience to transcend feelings of doubt or stagnation. By committing to showing up for ourselves each day with purposeful action, we cultivate the fortitude to keep pushing forward, seize new opportunities, and maximize our potential. So it's essential to reflect on this wisdom and apply it. Don't allow yourself to be ruled by passing emotions or wait for the perfect mental state. Instead, activate your inner drive, take that first step, and keep putting one foot in front of the other, consistently moving toward your highest aims and aspirations. Embrace the Stoic practice of focusing your efforts on what is within your control, your actions, mindset, and intentional forward momentum. With patience and discipline, you'll find that your feelings inevitably catch up, realigning with the self-directed course you've charted through your willful actions. You'll gain confidence in shaping your circumstances through sustained focus and determination. Life doesn't pause for any of us, but that truth is empowering when you accept it and step fully into your capacity to steer your journey with purpose. So get up and push yourself through, activating the timeless Stoic wisdom burning within, that inner drive to create a life in alignment with your values. The path ahead awaits those ready to seize the day. Self-freedom through aloneness. In our profoundly social nature as humans, we often crave constant companionship and connection. The prospect of being alone can trigger feelings of discomfort, emptiness, or even fear for some. Yet an ancient wisdom reminds us, if you will force them to stay with you, they will not. They will leave you alone. So learn the art of spending time alone. These words illuminate a profound truth. While relationships and community are invaluable, true peace and fulfillment must ultimately be found within oneself. The Stoic philosophers, renowned for their timeless insights, understood this well. As Marcus Aurelius insightfully stated, our pain and distress stem not from external events, but from our judgments and perspectives. This liberating realization empowers us to find solace and contentment in any circumstance, including aloneness. Imagine a close friend or loved one leaving your life through a falling out or life's natural transitions. It's natural to feel sadness, grief, or even abandonment initially. However, the Stoic path encourages us to pause and examine our judgments objectively. Are we distressed primarily because the person left, or because we've attached our happiness and sense of self-worth to their presence? The Stoics would remind us that another's absence does not diminish our inherent worth. While losing a valued relationship may sting, we always retain the power to find wholeness and acceptance within ourselves. By reframing our perspective, we can embrace solitude not as a burden, but as an opportunity for profound self-discovery, growth, and ultimately freedom. Just as the Stoic Epictetus suggested dispassionately, observing nature's ways to dispel fear, we too can let go of anxieties about aloneness by aligning with our innate capacity for independent thriving. Within the sanctuary of our solitude, we can connect more deeply with our values, creative expression, and the nourishing stillness of simply being. We shed incessant societal pressures and rediscover the pure essence of who we are without the noise of others' expectations or demands. This doesn't suggest human connection is unimportant. Indeed, the Stoics celebrated community and valued virtuous relationships. However, they recognized that cultivating an unwavering friendship with oneself and finding sufficiency in one's own company opens the door to sharing our whole, authentic selves with others. From a grounded position. So rather than desperately clinging to others' presence or fearing their departure, approach solitude as a sacred practice. Relish the chance to be fully present with yourself, your thoughts, emotions, dreams, and highest callings. Use this time to realign with your core principles and envision how you wish to steer your life with authorial intent. Within the atmosphere of calm aloneness, you'll find the revelatory space to discard inessential pursuits, heal unresolved pains, and ignite new sparks of purpose and passion. Your solitude becomes a powerful source of self-knowledge, creative unfolding, and soul-centered direction. The art of spending time alone is not one of lack or sacrifice. It is a skill that allows you to experience the profound wholeness, resilience, and self-sovereignty at the heart of the Stoic path. Embrace your solitude without fleeing from it, and you'll discover the unwavering freedom of one who is truly at home and peace wherever they go, alone or among others. So please reflect on this wisdom. Don't fear or resist the inevitability of aloneness. Use it as a vehicle for growth. When friends or situations leave you in solitude, treat it as a precious opening to go inward. Become familiar with the solitary strength within you, the complete, unwavering, and unshakable part, even amid apparent loss or change. Fill those solitary moments with self-exploration, studying your cherished values and envisioning how you wish to steer your life's course. Thank you. By befriending your aloneness rather than battling it, you open the door to experiencing life's deepest joys, creative expressions, and ultimately the unshakable freedom of one who has found sufficiency and sovereignty within their being. The world may constantly shift around you, with people and circumstances coming and going, but by cultivating this solitary strength, you anchor yourself in an imperturbable, inexhaustible source of fulfillment, the friendship and wisdom of your own company. So, learn the art of embracing aloneness without fleeing from it. Doing so allows you to join the ranks of the great Stoic thinkers who showed us the path to crafting lives of profound purpose, resilience, and inner freedom, no matter the external changes swirling around us. The sanctuary of your solitude awaits. Managing your emotions. In the rough tides of daily life, few virtues prove as invaluable as the ability to remain calm under pressure. The wise quote reminds us, only a calm person can handle any situation. So, learn how to control your emotions and stay calm. The ancient Stoic philosophers understood this principle profoundly. They recognized that while we can't always control external events and circumstances, we possess the innate power to determine how we respond internally, the domain of our judgments, emotions, and resultant actions. Marcus Aurelius encapsulated this truth elegantly. If any external thing pains you, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your judgment about it. Our suffering or agitation arises not from the situation, but the perceptions, stories, and emotional reactions we layer upon it. Imagine being stuck in a massive traffic jam after an exhausting day. For many, this scenario triggers frustration, anger, anxiety, and a plethora of negative emotions. However, the Stoics would counsel that the traffic jam itself is a neutral event. It is our judgments about being delayed, inconvenienced, or failing to control circumstances that breed emotional turmoil. By objectively pausing to observe the situation without those charged mental narratives, we realize that we still retain the power of choice over our internal state. While being delayed is frustrating, we can accept it with equanimity, redirecting our minds toward productive tasks, meditation, or simply enjoying the imposed downtime. This is the core practice of the Stoics, separating objective facts from the emotional baggage we habitually attach to them. We mustn't immediately fall into conditioned emotional patterns when we encounter difficulty. Instead, we can train ourselves to pause, analyze the situation impartially, and consciously decide how to respond. As Epictetus stated, man is disturbed not by things, but by the principles and notions which he forms concerning things. Reframing those principles and notions, we reclaim our sovereignty over the emotional realm. With dedicated practice, steadying our runaway thoughts and emotions becomes second nature. We cultivate a profound inner calm amidst external turbulence, not through rejecting our feelings, but by maintaining an underlying evenness of mind. Our emotions rise and fall like waves, while the ocean depths of our consciousness remain tranquil. From this center of mastery over our internal state, we can respond to any situation with poise, clarity, and wisdom. Hot-headed reactions give way to thoughtful choices. Anxiety dissipates as we differentiate between events and our stories about them. We stop unconsciously giving away our peace to every perceived threat or frustration. The Stoics show us that the most profound freedom lies in this emotional sovereignty, impervious to outer influences that could make us bitter, afraid, or unbalanced. With unwavering calm as our unshakable core, we remain open, resilient, and capable of facing any challenge or adversity life presents. So I encourage you to make it your aim to master this profound skill of remaining calm through all circumstances. Study yourself with honest self-awareness, catching the thought patterns and emotional reflexes that rob you of poise. Replace them with the Stoic practice of separating facts from judgments. Use concise breathing, meditation, and philosophy to calm yourself unperturbable. From that poised place, you become unstoppable. For what chaos, struggle, or frustration can impede one who has achieved mastery over their internal realm? The Stoics offer you this supreme gift, the power to stand serenely amid any storm, guided by your reasoned choices, rather than carried away by disturbed emotions. Imagine how differently you would move through life's inevitable challenges if you could maintain calm and centeredness. Stressful deadlines wouldn't unleash anxiety, but focused determination. Difficult people and situations wouldn't trigger anger or hurt, but compassionate patience. This is the profound promise of the unshakable calm, to navigate all of life's ups and downs as the sovereign master of your inner kingdom. No longer bound by reflexive emotional patterns, you become profoundly resilient, poised, and freed to live in harmony with your core virtues and values. Embrace this path of emotional mastery, and you open the door to your fullest potential. You face each day's tests with grace and wisdom. You remain impervious to chaos or conflict, honoring the most profound truth. Only a calm person can handle any situation. Only one who governs their inner world with skill can masterfully navigate the shifting landscapes of the outer world. The Stoics affirm the teachings to realize this powerful freedom, a transcendent existence of living each moment from your highest, most unwavering self. An existence of unshakable calm, breaking the bond of expectation, building unshakable relationships. Have you ever felt profoundly disappointed or let down by someone close to you? Perhaps a friend or loved one failed to live up to your expectations profoundly. If so, you've experienced one of life's most painful disappointments. The heartbreak of unmet expectations in our most cherished relationships. The wise adage reminds us expectations with people end up in disappointments. So stop expecting anything from anyone. While this may sound harsh initially, it contains a powerful wisdom that can unshackle us from needless suffering. The ancient Stoic philosophers understood that many of our heaviest burdens come from the chains of expectations we bind ourselves with, especially regarding how we think others should behave or treat us. By dropping these self-imposed expectations, we paradoxically open the door to more fulfilling and unshakable bonds. Think of a time when a loved one deeply let you down, perhaps through betrayal, selfishness, or simply failing to show up as you'd hoped in a pivotal moment. Much pain likely stemmed from their actions and the rift between your expectations and reality. You had envisioned them behaving differently toward you based on your concept of how they should act within that relationship. The Stoics would counsel that while we cannot control others' behavior, we always retain authority over our expectations and mindsets. When we cling too tightly to rigid expectations of how others must be or treat us, we inevitably breed resentment when reality deviates from that ideal. However, by releasing those fixed expectations, we create more spaciousness for imperfect human relations to unfold authentically. We are open to accepting others as they are, appreciating reasonable boundaries and limitations, rather than constantly feeling betrayed by an inability to meet our predetermined conditions. This doesn't mean accepting abuse or lacking healthy standards. It means loosening our white-knuckle grip on how we insist relationships must look or feel, allowing for the natural ebb and flow of human connecting and disconnecting. In this way, we reduce self-created suffering while cultivating more graceful, resilient bonds. Within this spaciousness of non-expectation, we paradoxically find greater appreciation and gratitude for those in our lives. Each person's positive actions and expressions of care become received as gifts to be cherished, rather than obligatory payments demanded from rigid expectations. Our relationships transform from transactional ones mired in disappointment to transcendent ones rooted in wise acceptance of our human imperfections. We see each other with more empathy and compassion, rather than through the distorted lens of unmet demands. Peace replaces needless and gushing over familiar human failings all relationships will inevitably encounter. This philosophy applies to close interpersonal connections and all areas involving other humans. We free ourselves from endless disappointment and frustration by releasing grandiose expectations of how companies must service, whether bureaucracies operate smoothly or whether public systems function optimally. We retain our agency to advocate for positive change, but unshackle our composure from the unrealistic idea. The Stoics offer us a profound emotional liberation, to be liberated from the self-created prison of our lofty expectations of others. When we release that weight of demanded perfectionism, we create the spaciousness to truly discover the gift of human relating in all its beautiful yet imperfect messiness. So I encourage you to take this teaching to heart. Reflect on areas in your life where you've bound yourself to the expectations of others. Notice the resulting chains of disappointment, anger, or hurt when reality naturally diverges from those rigid conditions. Then practice the Stoic art of loosening that grip, opening with grace to accept people and situations as they unfold, rather than demanding they conform to your preconceived ideals. Exchange expectations for presence and discernment. Cherish loved ones for who they are today, not who you wish they could be. Above all, extend compassion to others trapped in their human limitations, and yourself for clinging to expectations that breed suffering. Ultimately, we all walk this earth as imperfect beings doing our best to connect and belong. When you relinquish demands and open yourself to life's realities with wisdom and acceptance, you liberate yourself to experience relationships in their full depth and beauty. You are open to receiving each interaction and person as they are, not as you insist they should be. This is the path of unshakable bonds, relationships grounded in authentic presence and unconditional grace. So let the Stoics' insights unshackle you from expectations today. Free yourself to embrace all relationships with the loving serenity of one who has released all demands. You'll find the genuine, unshakable connection your heart longs for in that liberated spaciousness. Patience reveals the truth. Give them the time, they will show you their true face. This simple wisdom cuts through the noise of first impressions, snap judgments, and rushing to conclusions about others' character. The ancient Stoics understood that true discernment requires patience and accepting reality as it unfolds. How often have we been too quick to judge a person's worth or dismiss their potential based on limited interactions or superficial observations? In our haste, we construct narratives about who they are from mere glimpses behind the masks we all inevitably wear in new companies or circumstances. However, the Stoic path reminds us that a person's true face, their authentic nature, values, and depth of character can only be revealed across the breadth of time and experiences. We must resist the temptation to make hasty appraisals, remaining open and withholding absolute verdicts prematurely. We cultivate true wisdom by giving others the spaciousness of patience, allowing their actions and choices to accumulate and reveal who they are at their core. This isn't about excusing poor behavior, but recognizing that the human psyche possesses many dimensions that unfurl gradually, especially in new relationships and dynamics. In the silence of suspending judgment, of extending the courtesy of unhurried observation without racing to conclusions, the truth emerges organically. We witness how people navigate joys, conflicts, and hardships, the tests of character that unmask one's deepest values and integrity. The Stoics remind us that this patient discernment is ultimately an act of kindness to ourselves by not getting mired in the folly of rash judgments that often miss the mark, and to others by offering them the dignity of being seen wholly across life's movements. So embrace open patience when assessing new people or relationships. Allow the passage of experiences and choices to unveil one's innermost nature slowly, like a seed blooming at its own perfect pace. Resist the impulse to prematurely define others or cast aspersions before their entire essence has the space to blossom. You may be surprised by who they reveal themselves to be once the temporal veils are lifted, and their most accurate core is laid bare through the movements of life and trial. What seemed initially off-putting transforms when met with Stoic patience and the belief that everyone deserves the courtesy of authentic unveiling. Wisdom flowers are in the stillness of unhurried discernment, unhindered by reflexive denunciations or simplistic narratives. Embrace this path, and witness what manifests when you give them the time. The beauty of another's truth face gracefully emerging, becoming a sovereign being. You will have a peaceful life when you mind your own business. These potent words cut straight to the heart of the profound practice of cultivating an imperturbable inner life. The Stoics understood that true peace arises not from perfectly controlled circumstances, but from mastering the domain of one's consciousness. How much of our discontent, agitation, and dissatisfaction stems from the human tendency toward excessive meddling in others' affairs, in situations beyond our influence, in vain attempts to subjugate the uncontrollable forces of the cosmos. We leech away our tranquility by expending precious energy fixating upon and trying to reshape what is firmly outside our jurisdiction. Yet, as the ancient wisdom states, you will have a peaceful life when you mind your own business. Within this directive lies a powerful invitation to sovereignty, to draw a clear boundary around the precious plot of our being, and to tend to it masterfully. What could be our business more thoroughly than the landscape of our mind, our intentional thoughts, our chosen actions, our characters, our judicious use of willpower? This domain of our coherent consciousness is the true frontier over which we must assert wise dominion, rather than needlessly frittering it away in attempting to conquer the entire churning universe. The Stoics knew this truth, that the seeking soul cannot know peace by trying to control the uncontrollable externals swirling endlessly beyond our sphere of influence. True freedom and serenity arise from wholeheartedly minding our own business, the profound business of curating our inner sanctuary intentionally, ethically, and in harmony with nature's unshakable fluencies. By steadfastly focusing our care and work upon this most intimate jurisdictional domain of our inherent beingness, we paradoxically become impervious to the tumults of temporary conditions. We no longer find our peace derailed by that beyond our authorship or management. That which was the source of so much suffering and strain becomes rendered inert, as we vigilantly refuse to lend it any more of our precious peace and presence. With this as our steadfast locus, we cease leaking our sovereignty outward in futile dispersions, reclaiming it to curate the only sphere truly ours to influence. The composition of our inner life, the garden of our thoughts, emotions, values, and deeds, what was once entangled in the distractions and distortions of trying to subdue the unsubduable, becomes coherent, unified, and grounded. We discover that when our whole being is authentically minding its own business in this way, consuming dramas and vortices beyond our rightful jurisdictional reach cannot help but fall away like dispelled mirages. We abide at the calm, still center, ordering our soul in poised resonance, while outer winds howl indifferently. This is the secret of the peaceful life revealed through the Stoics. Tend to your core being first and foremost, diligently weeding the domains of thought and action that comprise your self-authority. Anything beyond this should be released with a peaceful indifference, not grasped at or absorbed into your sphere until disturbed. You will find power, clarity, and liberation in this practice. You now stand sovereign over your inner territory, even as ceaseless change swirls outside its walls. No longer squandering yourself on trying to subjugate externals, you have reclaimed the ability to curate with intention, wisdom, and grace the domain of your sacred being. And with that, your life cannot help but become genuinely peaceful, being worthy. They will care about you only when you become successful. Otherwise, nobody cares. This sobering truth can sting, revealing how inconsistent external validation and attention from others can be. However, the Stoics offer an empowering perspective. As Epictetus taught, if you want to improve, reject such reasonings as these. If I neglect my affairs, I shall not have a maintenance. If I do not correct my servant, he will be good for nothing. For it is better to die of hunger to be free from grief and fear than to live in affluence with perturbation. The Stoics recognize that tying our self-worth to external factors like others' approval or perceived success is a recipe for suffering and lack of inner freedom. When we orient our identity around such conditional acceptance, we become enslaved, constantly anxious about maintaining an illusion to earn society's favor. A more resilient path is to root your self-validation and sense of purpose within your core values and principles. As Marcus Aurelius reflected, if you work at that which is before you, following right reasons seriously, vigorously, calmly, without allowing anything else to distract you, you will live joyfully. By anchoring your identity in your chosen thoughts, efforts, and intentional actions each day, pursuits aligned with your moral compass, you become liberated from the hunger for others' fleeting admiration. Their approval may come and go, but your peace and fulfillment remain unwavering when you orient it toward embodying your highest virtues. Let the Stoics be your guide in cultivating this unshakable, inner-sourced validation. Interrogate where you look externally for self-worth and practice recentering it within in your cultivation of wisdom, resilience, generosity, and other virtues that ethical philosophy reveals as the authentic sources of profound worthiness. As you become more firmly grounded in the authority of your values-guided being, external opinions matter less. You radiate a calm self-assuredness as you ethically and productively work at what is before you, and in that congruent, unsevered flow state, you paradoxically become highly effective and actualized. So let these words be a wake-up call to unhook from the exhausting pursuit of perpetual external validation. Root yourself instead within the soil of your coherent philosophy and virtuous actions. There you reclaim your innate, unconditional self-worth, a priceless jewel infinitely more brilliant than any fleeting form of success defined by fickle others. Sovereign garden, stranger's noise. Most people don't know even what is happening in your life, but they are still here to give you advice. Stop listening to their advice. How much of our mental sovereignty and inner clarity have we ceded away by failing to honor this wisdom? All too often we let the unsolicited, uninformed advice of others penetrate the sacred garden of our discernment about what is best for us. As Seneca taught in his letters, he is a great person who does not crave the praise of the crowd. Show me someone who is not moved by the blame or the praise of the multitude. He has made great progress towards self-mastery and self-control. The Stoics understood that genuine mastery flows from maintaining jurisdictional integrity over one's being, carefully discerning what voices and influences to allow into one's private counsel and which to exclude firmly. What do most people truly know about the intimate details, histories, and contexts shaping your life? Their advice is often contaminated by ignorance about the nuances of your particular being and circumstances. Yet if we do not remain vigilantly sovereign, we let their muddled pronouncements breach our space, polluting our hard-won clarity. This doesn't make them bad people, simply uninitiated into the rich tapestries of your soul's ecosystem. They would ignorantly trample over the delicate, cultivated arrangements you've so carefully composed through your lived journey and self-knowledge. Even with positive intentions, their meddling invites disorder and disharmony. What need is there, asked Marcus Aurelius, to weep over parts of life, for the whole must one day be laid aside? The key lies in realizing that unsolicited advice comes from a limited vantage, focused only on fragments, rather than the gorgeous cohesion of your whole path, which you alone have had a visceral felt experience of composing and navigating. Thus, the wise response is to politely but decisively refuse entry to such voices until you have explicitly invited them into the chambers of your discernment. Allow their noises to dissipate like gibberish whispers at your sovereign gate, honoring that you alone remain most initiated into the intimate mysteries of your life's sacred unfolding. From that centered place of healthy boundaries around your jurisdictional integrity, you may find even the act of humbly seeking advice to be transformed. You now approach it with sovereign discernment, calling in only the most trustworthy and relevant voices to harmonize with your journey, rather than impulsively letting all opinions pour in chaotically like a city's ambient noise pollution. As Epictetus advised, the antidote is to make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Your power lies in diligently cultivating the inner territory of your life's direction and embodying your deepest values daily. All else effortlessly falls away like leaves with this focused intentionality. By heeding these Stoic insights, you liberate yourself from the ceaseless din of unsolicited and underinformed advice. This noisy flood would otherwise overwhelm your hard-won gardens of clarity and virtue. Like a master gardener, you resume tending to what is yours to compose, embracing the stank ease of vigilant discernment and integrity. And from that centered space of authority over your sovereign path, your life emerges as the harmonious masterpiece it was ever meant to blossom into. The wisdom of chosen mentors. People who aren't living a life that you want to live don't take their advice. These blunt words cut through the constant noise of unsolicited guidance that often clouds our spiritual journey. They remind us to be fiercely discerning about whose influence we allow to shape our lives. The ancient Stoics understood this well. Epictetus taught there is only one way to happiness, and that is by making yourself conform to the laws of nature, to live with life as it is. He knew that true fulfillment arises from aligning ourselves with the sacred unfolding of nature and reason, not from mindlessly adopting the misguided perspectives of others. Indeed, most people move through this world steeped in delusion and ignorance and live profoundly out of harmony with nature's coherent patterns. Their advice inevitably reflects these distorted lenses, pulling us further from our highest truth and ideal paths, rather than clarifying them. As Marcus Aurelius philosophized, the universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it. When we allow the small minds and unexamined beliefs of others to permeate our thinking, we lose authorship over crafting a life of profound alignment and purpose. The Stoics were radical about reminding us that we must be stalwart protectors of our sovereign interior realm, ruthlessly filtering what narratives and belief systems we let inscribe upon the pristine spaces of our consciousness. The advice of those sleepwalking through inauthentic lives can only ever amount to regurgitated detritus, antithetical to our actualization. This doesn't make such people bad or wrong. They haven't yet awoken to cultivate the clarity required to serve as influential mentors for the journey you are called to. Their intentions close their eyes to the reality that their influence may be more of a disorienting matrix than an empowering catalyst. Seneca reminded his students, we should listen with reserve and skepticism to those who do not offer their own lives as a model. This reserve and discernment beckons us to rigorously align ourselves only with the illuminating wisdom of those already inhabiting the virtuous, unconflicted, and thoughtful existence we aspire to. These rarefied souls demonstrate the art of lifecraft through their very presence and embodied actions. Their advice attains the utmost integrity precisely because it arises from their congruence with life's deepest harmonies. The Stoics modeled this themselves, imbibing the revolutionary philosophies that granted them access to eternal human truths, while rejecting the conventional ignorance that births unspeakable suffering. We too must have the bravery to assertively turn away from the contaminating inputs that don't resonate with our ideal paths, and allow only the pristine vectors of mentorship that propel our heroic flourishing. So interrogate whose voices you've allowed to dictate your aims and means thus far. Cast off the stagnating guidance of those still slumbering through inauthentic lives, disavowing those self-appointed authorities, modeling the very antipathy of what you'd create your existential masterpiece around. Instead, become a purposeful seeker and devotee of the rare voices, singing the frequencies of your highest becoming. Welcome only the sage counsel, emanating from those already grounded in the virtuous art of living the intentional, unconflicted, and philosophically coherent life to which you feel called at your core. Let this quote's crude wisdom be your summons into ruthless discernment about what influences you imbibe. Each stream you allow into your inner ecology permanently shapes the garden you're cultivating, the life you're crafting through the sacrosanct creativity of your consciousness and daily choices. The Stoics illuminated the way by imbibing only what was whole and accurate, while courageously leaving the rest. If you too walk that path of radical discernment about your influences, the magnificence that blossoms in your life's unfolding cannot be anything other than a breathtaking masterpiece of beauty, virtue, and realignment with nature's grand choreography. Letting go, embracing change. Have you ever felt upset because something important in your life changed unexpectedly? Maybe a friend moved away, your favorite team lost, or a plan you were looking forward to getting cancelled. These changes can feel tough, but are a natural part of life. The Stoic philosophers understood this well and taught that accepting and embracing change is critical to living a peaceful and happy life. One famous Stoic, Epictetus, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that while we can't control everything that happens to us, we can control how we respond. Instead of getting upset about changes we can't avoid, we can see them as opportunities to grow and learn. Think about a time when something didn't go as planned. Maybe you were disappointed at first, but then you found a new friend, discovered a new hobby, or learned something important about yourself. These positive things might not have happened if everything had gone according to your original plan. By letting go of how you think things should be, you open yourself up to new possibilities and experiences. Another Stoic philosopher, Seneca, said, "Every new beginning comes from another beginning's end." This means that when one thing ends, it makes room for something new to start. It's like when the seasons change. Winter might be cold and harsh, but it provides spring's warmth and new growth. In the same way, changes in our lives can lead to new and better things, even if we can't see them right away. Letting go of what we can't control helps us focus on what we can control, our actions and attitudes. For example, if a friend moves away, you can focus on staying in touch with them, making new friends, and enjoying your hobbies and activities instead of feeling sad and helpless. This doesn't mean you won't feel sorry, but it helps you move forward positively. The Stoics believed that by accepting change, we can find peace. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." This means that change is a constant part of life, that we can shape our experiences through our thoughts and attitudes. If we see change as a normal part of life and look for the good in it, we can live more peacefully and happily. Imagine you're building a sandcastle on the beach. You work hard and make it just the way you want it. But then the tide comes in and washes it away. You might feel sad and frustrated because your hard work is gone. But if you understand that the tide coming in is a natural part of the beach, you can let go of your disappointment and enjoy building a new sandcastle. The same is true in life. When we let go of our attachment to how things were, we can enjoy and make the most of what is. Another way to embrace change is by practicing gratitude. When we focus on what we're thankful for, seeing the positives in new situations becomes more manageable. Maybe you lost something important, but you still have many other things to be grateful for, like your health, family, or favorite activities. Gratitude helps shift our focus from what we've lost to what we still have and what's possible in the future. It's also important to remember that everyone experiences change. You're not alone in facing new and sometimes difficult situations. Talking to friends, family, or teachers about your feelings can help you gain new perspectives and support. They might have stories about dealing with change that can inspire and comfort you. So take the Stoic wisdom to heart. Understand that change is a natural and unavoidable part of life. You can find peace and happiness by letting go of what you can't control and embracing new beginnings. Remember the words of the Stoics. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You can shape your own experiences through your thoughts and attitudes. Embrace change, look for the good in every situation, and find life full of new and exciting possibilities. Staying grounded, the art of humility. Imagine you've just achieved something remarkable. Maybe you won a big game, got the highest grade in your class, or completed a challenging project. It feels great, right? Success can be inspiring, but it's important to remember to stay humble and grounded, no matter how high you climb. The Stoic philosophers understood the value of humility and how it helps us maintain balance and perspective in our lives. One famous Stoic, Epictetus, said, "It's impossible for a person to begin to learn what they think they already know. If we believe we already know everything, we stop learning and growing." Humility allows us to keep an open mind and recognize that there is always more to learn, no matter how successful we become. Think about someone you admire, maybe a teacher, a coach, or a famous person. Chances are one of the reasons you look up to them is because they remain kind and humble despite their success. They don't brag or act superior. Instead, they use their knowledge and skills to help others. True humility looks like recognizing your strengths and achievements without letting them inflate your ego. Another Stoic, Seneca, said, "No man was ever wise by chance." Wisdom and success require effort and learning from our experiences, and part of that learning process is acknowledging that we don't have all the answers. By staying humble, we remain open to new ideas and perspectives, which helps us grow even more. Humility also involves recognizing the contributions of others. When we achieve something, it's rarely done entirely on our own. You may have had support from your family, encouragement from friends, or guidance from mentors. Acknowledging the role others play in your success keeps you grounded and fosters gratitude. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you, woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs?" This reminds us that success and failure are both parts of life. Staying humble means accepting that we will face ups and downs, and that our value doesn't come from our achievements alone, but from our character and how we handle all situations. Imagine climbing a mountain. As you reach the top, you feel a sense of accomplishment. But it's important to remember the effort it took to get there and the people who helped you along the way. Staying humble is like looking back down the mountain and appreciating the journey, not just the peak. Humility also helps us connect with others. When humble, we're more likely to listen and empathize with people. We don't see ourselves as better than anyone else, making building solid and respectful relationships easier. Humility, however, keeps us aware of our limitations and open to improvement. So take the Stoic wisdom to heart. Practice humility by acknowledging that there is always more to learn, appreciating the support of others, and staying open to new experiences. Remember that your worth isn't measured by your successes alone, but by your character and how you treat others. Embrace the words of the Stoics. It's impossible for a person to begin to learn what they think they already know. Stay curious, stay grounded, and keep learning. By doing so, you'll achieve great things and build a life rich in wisdom, kindness, and meaningful connections. This is the true power of humility. It keeps you grounded, helps you grow, and allows you to fully appreciate and navigate the highs and lows of life.